It's no secret that in my life, I have always tried to lead by example. And one small change that I've implemented into my life to try to give people a little bit of sense of freedom is an email signature. Now, that might sound very bland and whatnot, but let's take a look, in terms of what I specifically added. So at the bottom of my emails, there's a message that says, please note, this email was sent at a time that suits my schedule. Feel free to respond at your convenience. I don't expect an immediate reply. Just a heads up, I typically aim to respond to timely emails within 24 hours, except on weekends when my responsiveness may be slower. Of course, this time frame may vary if an auto response message indicates otherwise. So within that short amount of time, I lay out various expectations. Number one, that, hey, if I'm sending this email at 2 a.m. or whatever it is at a time that seems insane, I don't expect you to respond, right? The pressures of our society have made it as such, just because we're connected and, you can send an email, you can be in touch with anybody at any given time, that there's this weird expectation that they have to respond right away, right? No, they don't, right? And so I'm giving them that window to say hey, you don't have to. This I sent when it was good for me. But whenever it's good for you, you respond, okay? So that's number one, right? Allowing people that freedom to really dictate their time. Now, of course, I want a timely response, maybe depending on the situation or whatever. But no, if I send it at 2 a.m, I don't expect it at 2:03, 10 a.m. on the business day of that next day. Great. Totally works, right? So that's number one. And then I lay out my methodology, right? Because sometimes people will, email, and I've had this happen where within 30 minutes, if I or somebody else doesn't respond, they're all of a sudden calling them and being like, hey, did you get my email? It's I haven't checked, but let me check. And it's well, is it really that pertinent, Because one of my rules is, if it's a true emergency, text me or call me, right? Email is not the emergency handling methodology, So sometimes I use email as a follow-up, hey, we have this emergency. I need you to take care of it. All the instructions, passwords, whatever you would need, I sent an email, right? They can work in tandem, but just to use email as the primary thing during an emergency, no, right? That's why I say, I'll typically respond to timely emails within 24 hours. And I say that timely because there are, of course, emails that don't necessitate a response that is timely. If someone invites you to a party, right? And today is whatever, let's just say May 1st, and they say RSVP by May 30th. It's cool, I don't need to respond. Right within 24 hours. It's not timely. I have that 30 days until May 30th in this fake scenario to be able to respond, right? And then I also give the added thing that on weekends, guess what? It's going to be slower because it's the freaking weekend. And, what I do with that time is my own, right? And then the last caveat that, yes, I might be on vacation. And so if an auto response comes of hey, I am out of the office from June 1st to June 30th, don't expect emails, then that supersedes everything, right? So just kind of not only creates my boundaries, but by setting up my sort of, viewpoint into it, it allows people the permission to set up their own aspects of it. Now, trust me, part of boundary setting is that I might not like the boundaries that people set and things like that, but, either I want to work with them and it's worth it. So I have to figure out how to adjust accordingly. Hence why I put up my boundaries, because they have to adjust to mine accordingly, or they don't, they have a right to not, work with me or whatever else. And so, yeah, I just wanted to kind of preview that because I think, it was beneficial for me to set up. It was beneficial. I saw this in someone else's email, and that's what kind of sparked it in me. And then I started seeing it in more and more people's emails. I forgot who the patient zero, let's call him, was of all of this, but I do like this, and so that's why I wanted to talk about it and recommend it to you.